let's kick it in right now. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're live Periscope and YouTube today. Didn't know Periscope was dying until today, so kind of heartbreaking news there, really. I'm kind of sad to see it go. I love Periscope. I thought it was a great platform, so garbage to see that, to see the platform go away. But, well, what are you going to do? So we are live. We're going to handle it all today. We're going to try and cover everything as much as we can. I realize I got to change some links really quickly, so hold on. There we go. So this is going to be an interesting evening, and especially with the deals that we just saw get made, it becomes, I think, equally more interesting than it once was. Perhaps 1,000 times more interesting. So here we are. This is it. We've got deals that have been done, and we've got moves that have been made. And if you have any questions and you want any expert, not expert at all, opinions on what I think is going to happen, or what I think the maybe a deal that I think is going to get done, we will certainly talk about that. And we'll try to cover some of the deals that happened today already, albeit that there's not many. So let's bring up the feed. There you go. That's a little better. So we have a couple graphics already ready for tonight. Credit to me, I think. But maybe not. I thought I was pretty well prepared for the whole event. This was, by the way, for those of you who are curious, a very spur-of-the-moment decision to go out and do a live stream. So you're probably not shocked of that, I suppose. But we are really quickly going to throw a... I'm just trying to think of how I can display a window here properly, but I don't really know if there is. Actually, there definitely isn't. That's unfortunate. But obviously the draft coming up later, so we'll go have fun with that when the time comes, I guess. So before anything, let's talk about the Canucks trade. This is huge news. So it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland going to Vancouver. That's two very big names for Vancouver to acquire. And Arizona's taking Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, Antoine Roussel, dead cap space essentially, as well as a first rounder. That's the 9th overall pick tonight, a second in 2022 next year, and a 7th in 2023. I don't really know where that matters, but that is a pile of, that is reaping what you sow if you're Arizona, I think. But I do see where the deal's coming from for both sides here. And we knew that Vancouver was interested in getting Oliver Ekman-Larsson. They really wanted it. They really wanted it. They wanted OEL for a long time. And, I mean, Connor Garland had a fantastic year. He was very good. But boy, that is a lot of money that Arizona's taking. And I mean, hey, I guess they can afford it, right? So good for them. But dear, that is it's a move. It's a move that I was not surprised by, I suppose, but not also not expecting. I suppose that's the best way to put it. It's a stunner, is what it is, everyone. So that's the deal. It is Ekman-Larsson and Garland for just a pile of stuff back, really. And if you're the Canucks, you have your new number one defenseman, I would think, right? I don't know who else it would be. The Taylor Hall deal, by the way, is official now. It is 4 years, exactly $6 million in Boston. So Taylor Hall stays. I don't think that's a huge surprise whatsoever, but there it is. It is Taylor Hall staying in Boston for 4 more years, $6 million AAV. It seemed like he had a lot of really good timing in Boston. He enjoyed having a solid career there. So that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm not shocked to see Taylor Hall stay there. It's interesting to see him on a long-term deal. We haven't really seen that before. So this is kind of a first for him, I guess. For Taylor Hall, a big move for him to commit to the team that it seemed like he wanted to be with. I think he did. He seemed like he was good Lord, he was fantastic there last year. In the, albeit a few months that we saw him as a Bruin, I thought he looked very solid. I thought it looked like he was back to Taylor Hall prior to the crazy, if you know what I mean. Thought it was Taylor Hall prior to all the moves that got made and the million trades that happened, and there was quite a few. So there's that. We're gonna watch Seth Jones tonight too. It is, after all, the night of the draft. I think there's a lot to look at. I think there's a lot to pay attention to tonight. I think we could see a lot happen. Seth Jones is very close to being a Chicago Blackhawk from what's going around. And that shouldn't surprise anyone because that's not exactly new. Here's Elliot Friedman. This is what he said. According to several sources, Chicago and Columbus are taking another run at the trade. During the first attempt, the Blue Jackets discussed maybe Kirby Dach or DeBrincat as a centerpiece of the deal. But, and I think if you're a Blackhawks fan, you'll understand this, that is not something the Blackhawks were willing to do. Now, what the two teams are trying to do is to find some common ground here. They want to try and get a deal done without including either Dach or including DeBrincat. You know, find a mix of the young players for Chicago, high draft picks. The Blackhawks do have the 12th overall pick tonight. That's not nothing. I think that could be a very important piece. Now, it is believed that Chicago is one of the teams that could get a long-term deal for Seth Jones, and that does make sense. Ryan Suter is going to be another popular guy. That's another name I think you're going to hear a lot of tonight. I don't know where he's going to go. There's a lot of names, a lot of teams out there. Boston's there, Colorado, Dallas, Florida. The Islanders apparently have snuck their name in. We'll see. And Alec Martinez is a UFA as well. So we'll see if he wants to ditch the Golden Knights and take another run somewhere else. He was pretty good with Vegas this year. At least I found he was. I guess that could be different for everyone. Now, there's a very unique situation in place for David Savard, who is now a cup-winning defenseman. Assist on the winning goal. And the question is what's happening to David Savard? Now, again, going back to Elliot Friedman, 31 Thoughts, his article he released yesterday, saying one GM Thursday said he's hearing more and more from players, and I think this is not really breaking news, but more and more from players that they do not prefer to play in Canada. Reason being, it's you know, there's social media pressure in Canada compared to the States. There certainly is a ton. There is pressure from everyone. The media pressure is higher. And I mean, I kind of get it, you know. Vancouver, by the way, it does appear that they're looking to get a move done. They really want to get Braden Holtby out. And I'm not surprised. Pierre LeBrun an hour ago. The Blackhawks are still grinding away, trying to pry Seth Jones from Columbus. Nothing close, but Chicago's trying. Again, I think this is going to be a really interesting deal. Might come down to the draft, if we're being totally honest. Would not be surprised if this is a draft type of deal. It is, you know, when the draft pick is a key part, I think. I kind of get it. I would think a lot of teams are calling about Seth Jones, so I don't think it's just the Blackhawks that are interested there. And who could blame them? And if you're the Blackhawks, man, I mean, you've got to be really wanting him to get away. I think I get it. I think I do. So that is where we are right now. A lot of players moving. We have the Ekman-Larsson deal, which is major. It is huge news. I'm surprised that he went for the stuff he went for. I'm surprised Vancouver went for that deal. Though I realize they want to get rid of the dead cap space. There's a year left. So be it, I guess. What are you going to do? So here we are. We sit here now a few hours prior to the draft. Very, very interesting night coming. Very interesting day we've had, if we're being honest. This is one of the most active span of days we've had in the NHL in a while. A long while at that. It has been a very long time since we have seen this kind of thing. This kind of move happen, I think. So, it's really interesting. So how are we doing in chat, everyone? Hopefully everyone's doing well. I am keeping an eye on it. You can probably see it off to the right here. That's the YouTube window. We have Periscope next to it as well. We're chatting there as well, which is basically just poor man's Twitter. I'd love to do a Twitter space, but we don't have the technology. So, what are you gonna do? Ugh. Just looking at the Boston graphic. It's very Boston-y, as you can probably hear. So that's probably pretty fair. When does the NHL draft start? We got a while until the NHL draft, until the draft actually kicks off. Round 1 is tonight at, I think it's 8 Eastern. Yeah, it is. It's about 8 p.m. Eastern, so an hour and a half from now. Catch it on ESPN, 2, Sportsnet if you're in Canada, TVA if you're in Quebec. For those of you who are wondering, are we going to watch the draft live here? Is it going to be broadcast on my stream? No, I can't do that. I would get shut down very quickly. As much as I'd love to do that. Because, well, not everyone has access to ESPN 2. But that's all it is. But we're going in about an hour and a half for the draft. Very exciting. This will be one of the most interesting drafts looking back, I think, for a while. I think so. I think that's an option. So we do have some more news that came out, and I don't know really if it came out now, but we got news about Carey Price. Can I watch it free somewhere? I mean, illegally. I'm sure there's a way you can find it. I don't know where, but I would think you can find it streamed somewhere for the draft. There's a chance that someone will broadcast it. Like, there's a chance that Sportsnet might broadcast it too. I'm not sure if it'll happen or not, but they've been broadcasting a lot, so I wouldn't rule it out. I think it's possible. I think it's definitely possible, actually, that happens. So, with that being said, this is kind of the news that we've been watching for I guess a while now, which is that Carey Price apparently, and emphasis on apparently, he is going to be ready for the start of the season. This just came out about 10-15 minutes ago. Montreal announces Carey Price has gone through knee surgery. So the reported injury about his knee, it's not a lie. He does have an injured knee. That being said, he's only going to be out 10 to 12 weeks. So he will be back in time, apparently, for the start of next season. I think it's very interesting. And there was a lot of people who were saying Seattle was very mad that they did not get proper information on Carey Price and on his health. And now you see why. Because, yeah, gotta wonder if there was better knowledge as to Carey Price's health, which apparently Seattle did not have very much of, or at least didn't have a very good one. Well, you wonder if they would have taken him. I don't know if I don't know if Seattle would be willing to take Carey Price regardless, to be honest. Just because of that cap hit. And you can tell what Seattle was doing. They were making a deal to have cap space. That's all they wanted. They wanted cap space to work with. And, I mean, boy, I'll be damned if that's not what they got. They have $30 million in cap space to work with. Go spend it wherever you want. Quite literally, spend it wherever you want. That's as easy as it gets. So, yeah. Now, I'll tell you this. I think if you're a Vancouver fan and you don't like the Ekman-Larsson deal, I understand why, but I think you're still insane. I do. I think you're crazy if you don't like the Ekman-Larsson deal, because Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a fantastic defenseman. You know? So that, and maybe that's part of the thing, I guess, but I do seriously think that Oliver Ekman-Larsson's a franchise defenseman. He certainly was for Arizona. And now it's become pretty clear that, well, he may be a franchise defenseman for Vancouver. He might be. I'm not saying he will. But he certainly played a vital role in Arizona. And, well, I guess that's all we can do. And we'll see if the, if per se, and I hate to use this term because it is pretty bad. We'll see if the price is right. I should mention we are live in the Discord as well. I will be, I'll throw out the link for that here in a moment. But we're live in Discord, so you can ask anything you have about there as well. So we'll throw that into the YouTube chat, and I don't know if we can throw it in Periscope or not. I think we can. Though if you're in Periscope, well, you may not care. Anyway, you're probably just here for the content. But we're here in Discord, and we'll be doing a bit of live chatter about the draft. So if you want to come join the conversation, you can do that. It does sound like, by the way, and this is, I guess we can classify this as breaking news, so I don't really know if it's worth calling breaking news, but you know what? Yeah, it's breaking news. Toronto and Edmonton have a deal for Hyman. It is going to happen. This is per Darren Dreger just a few seconds ago. The Oilers are not interested in giving up more than a few late round picks, but the Oilers seem okay with 7 to 8 years. So the deal at least sounds like it's coming to a close. It certainly sounds like the Edmonton Oilers are going to get Zach Hyman on a long-term deal. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not a Leafs fan. I don't really hold a bias against or towards the Leafs. But boy, an 8-year deal is a lot, don't you think? You know? Oh, I apologize for the yawns. I have trouble fathoming a deal for Zach Hyman, who's about to be, you know, you are signing him not long term. You're signing him until he retires. That's what it is. Is that what you want? I suppose it could be. I don't know if it's what I would want, I guess is the better question. I don't really... I get it, but I don't, if that makes sense. I understand why you want a guy like Zach Hyman. Whatever Zach Hyman did in a past year, or in a past life, I guess. Because he has gone from playing... He's going to go from playing on a line with Austin Matthews to playing on a line with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. One of the two of them. I mean, that is quite the pairing to play with, is it not? That is a very good list of players to be alongside of. And maybe that's part of it, to be fair. But, boy, that is really interesting. I don't know if I'm exactly sold on it, though. If I'm a GM, I don't think I'm signing Zach Hyman for that long. You know what I mean? I don't think I could. I don't think I could use 7, 8 years. That's a tough sell for me. Very tough sell. But that's per Darren Dreger a couple of minutes ago. I mean, it sucks for Toronto, right? Whew. It sucks for Toronto because you're losing Zach Hyman. And if all you're going to get back is a second and a third, or not even, sorry. If all you're getting back is like, well, what was mentioned by Darren Drugger was a 7th, like a late round pick. That's rough to lose on. But to be fair, if you're signing him for that long, I understand why you wouldn't trade for that. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't either. No chance. Worth talking really quickly about the Pavel Buchnevich deal. I haven't mentioned this yet. So this was St. Louis acquiring Buchnevich, and they gave back to the Rangers Sammy Blais in a second next year, not this year. This seems like the Blues robbed the Rangers, and I'm not a huge Rangers guy or a huge Blues guy, in all fairness. So perhaps it's on me. It certainly seems like this is a robbery. I don't know. Again, perhaps that's just me. Maybe I'm going crazy. But it certainly seems like that's a deal that I wouldn't. I don't know how you don't ask for more back, I guess. But Sammy Blais looked very good, to be fair. He has. He's looked like a good player. He's looked like a impact type of forward, at least in his time with the Blues. And we'll see what he can kind of put together, I guess, with a new team, because that's a lot. He's under contract for the rest of this year. It's $1.5 million, and then he's an RFA. So, what are you going to do, I guess, right? But, and to be fair, I guess Buchnevich they just traded his rights, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Sammy Blais is a free agent, so. Or Buchnevich is, sorry. Did I see Blais? I might have. So you're trading the signing rights for Buchnevich for Sammy Blais. I guess I get it, but man, Buchnevich seems like a very good player. And I mean, his recent cap hit, he's just coming off of his entry level, which was $925. He's going to get a raise. I think he's going to ask for a fairly big raise, and he probably should. I certainly would. So we'll see what what that raise ends up being. I would assume that there is a deal in the works for St. Louis to get him. I don't think any team is doing a deal for a player like this without having a plan in place, if that makes sense. I think you have to be willing to have a deal in place before you go ahead and just try it. So that's that. Hopefully we're doing well in chat. See a few people popping in a note as the night goes, and that'll be the way it is. But welcome everyone. Happy to have you on board as we have a wild day of news. A lot of crazy. So the NHL entry draft, just to kind of, for those of you who aren't aware, we've had some changes. So draft order is now as follows: Buffalo, Seattle, Anaheim, New Jersey, Columbus, Detroit, San Jose, LA, and now the Arizona Coyotes will get that 9th overall pick, and then Ottawa 10th. I think this is great for Arizona from a perspective of the draft, that trade they had, because gotta remember, they forfeited their pick, which would have been 11th overall. They forfeited that pick. So they now have the 9th overall pick. They have a first round pick again this year. They've acquired a pile of them over the next couple of years for taking dead cap space. And all of those cap hits they took from Vancouver, which I realize is, it's basically dead cap, those all expire this year. So, Arizona might make a run for it in at the end of this year. Wouldn't be surprised. Sailor, what's going on? Welcome. Hi from Poland? Oh, that's wild. Welcome. Colby, breaking news. What is it, Colby? Go ahead. I am awaiting the news. It better be good. You left me earlier to go do something else. So this better be the best news I've ever heard all day. Quite frankly. No pressure. So Carey Price is fine, which is really, really hilarious. And I understand how Seattle's mad. And they did complain to the league, by the way. There was a complaint made by Seattle to the league that they thought they were kind of screwed by the Montreal Canadiens. And boy, I can't blame them. They kind of were. Oh, it's you joining the stream. Colby, would you like me to play? Do you think there's a breaking news graphic that you're deserved to have play? Having that now? I'll leave that decision up to you. I realize that's a lot it's a lot going on, you know? So you let me know, and I'll make it happen. NHL go Burr? Yeah, they did. Very interesting day. And I think we're going to see a Seth Jones deal by the end of this, too. I'd be surprised if he's not moving. It sounds like Chicago's really pushing for him. Really pushing. I'm going to be very shocked if they don't get him. They want their guy. And I know they don't want to give up their top players. They don't want to give up to Brinkett. They don't want to give up Doc. I don't blame them for that. But if you want Seth Jones, you gotta give up stuff for him, right? That's all there is. That's it. That's all you can really do. We'll see what happens. But I don't see a way, I guess. And we'll see what happens. So, I just want to make this clear, by the way. The expansion draft kind of sucked, right? I don't want to be mean. Like, I thought it was good. You know, the NHL needs their expansion draft to be somewhat entertaining, I would think. But boy, was it not. It was leaked all at the start. And here's where I stand on this, by the way. If you're the NHL and you want this to not, you know, if you want this to not be a problem, and you want people to not leak your picks, maybe don't give them like 10 hours notice between the draft and when they have it. Just saying. It's an option. But I'm not here to judge. Do whatever you want, I guess. So welcome to the draft party, everyone. We're going to see a very fun draft tonight, I think. And I say I think for a very good reason, but, well, find out. Thank you for the sub. That name was a lot. Like, a lot. I'm not sure how to react to that, but I appreciate it. God, I love that graphic worked out, by the way. Didn't think it was going to, if we're being honest. So, good thing that worked out, too. As mentioned, we got a couple of graphics set for today. A couple of them I think I'll need to use. A couple of them I'm not sure. How'd you do the ticker? This is just pulling from the RSS feed of, I believe we're using Hockey News or the Hockey News. I gotta tell you, there used to be some really good RSS feeds for news. Not really anymore. There are some of them are very out of date, including this one. Considering the bottom line is Canucks 3 potential trade targets for the 9th overall pick. They traded it. I'd be curious to see who else was in on that, actually. And I'm not saying there was anyone, because there's a pretty decent chance that there wasn't, but that would be interesting to see if there was anyone else who was really, really trying to go after that pick, because obviously Vancouver was willing to get rid of it. And I don't know if I would have been willing to get rid of it if I was Vancouver, but to each their own. So we're gonna try and keep up with the updates. We're gonna try and keep with the crazy news that's going on today. We've had a lot of stuff. Jack Eichel is nearing stuff happening. I think it certainly seems like there's going to be a move made for Jack Eichel eventually. L.A., New York, Minnesota, and Anaheim, and apparently Montreal is in on him as well, which is interesting because if you're going to lose Danault, because I don't think he's coming back. I realize there's a chance he does. To be fair. What are you supposed to do? Well, geez, wouldn't Jack Eichel be a nice way to fix that? And Carey Price is on LTIR. And so is, well, I guess Carey Price won't be if he's ready for the year. But Shea Weber is. It's a lot of cap space that's opening up. It's a lot of money. Montreal could go off and do something crazy. You know I like when that happens, so. I do. I still can't get over the Rasmus Ristolainen trade. I can't get over it. I realize it's like, whatever. You know, well, he's gone. Who cares? But Rasmus Ristolainen is not worth what Buffalo paid. He's not. A first-round pick this year, a second-round pick 2 years from now, and a defenseman. That's a rough look. I mean, good for Buffalo. They needed a trade to go their way. No questions about that. I don't know if I would have been a big fan of that. Time is it in your location? I do have sun. Yeah, I guess it's 1 a.m. in Poland. We're looking at just like 7:45 here. Atlantic time is the time zone here, so an hour ahead of Eastern. Since nobody knows where Atlantic time is. And perhaps that's understandable, to be fair. But yes, we still have some sun for at least a bit. I don't think we're going to have it for, I don't think we'll have it for much longer, but we'll enjoy it while we can. Yes, we will. We'll try and have fun. It's actually, we've had a really weird day of weather. We had thunderstorms for ages today, and it was pouring rain, and now it's sunny again. I realize you can't really see through the port. Well, if I wonder. Hold on. If I give you a good zoom in on that, you might be able to see. There's the microphone. We'll get that out of the way. Yeah, I mean, well, not happening. Sorry about that. It didn't work. I tried. Now I gotta get the camera refocused on me. This is why I guess you don't change your shot in the middle of a stream, right? But yeah, it's nice and sunny out now. So we'll see what the weather does later on. And we'll see if it stays nice, because that would be awfully nice. I don't think it's going to, though. So lots of craziness going on today so far, and I think it's going to keep going. I do. I think there's going to be more that happens today. I don't know what the something is. I think there's a little bit of craziness left, though. I do. I think we got craziness coming up. I think there's a Seth Jones deal in place that's just so close to getting done. And that's what it sounds like from everything that I've heard and from everything I've been looking at. It sounds like the deal is close, but it's not quite there yet. But we'll see. All right, I'm going to go get a drink. And we'll be back in a second. So stick around. All right, we are back. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. For those of you who are joining recently, or maybe joined a few minutes ago while nothing was happening, I walked away for 5 seconds, and I think this is probably what's going to happen throughout the night. And I did say it was going to happen, so maybe it's on me. This is news that we were expecting, I think. And now it is official, so we can go ahead and do it, I guess. We are, or well, not we. It's not multiple of us. It's me. The news has leaked out, and it is done. It has happened. I don't know what the deal is yet, but Seth Jones is a Chicago Blackhawk. The deal is done. The trade has happened. Chicago has acquired Seth Jones. Yeah, so Seth Jones is a Blackhawk. It's done. The deal has been completed. I don't know what's on the way back yet, but the deal that I was just saying, I think got done. We will see what the actual return is for him. I would assume it's just Seth Jones going there. I would think there's a lot going back, though. Is Seth Jones good? Seth Jones is a top defenseman. I've been out of the game for like 5 years. Okay, cool. I'll give you a little background, I guess, on Seth Jones, because that's probably a realistic thing to do. Seth Jones, that is he was at one point projected to be a first overall pick. Ended up not happening. This was in the Nathan MacKinnon draft, so this is 2013. He ended up going 4th overall, drafted by Nashville. Was touted as one of the best possible defensemen there could be. Didn't happen in Nashville. He was traded to, and traded quite quickly, in that you're a Hawks fan too. Depending on what the return is, I'd be very happy about getting Seth Jones. I would. I'd be very excited about this trade. But what do I know, right? We're going to have to wait on the return on this before we can really say anything about this. All we know right now is it is Seth Jones going to Chicago. They have their new number 1 defenseman. This is a guy who was a top defenseman. No questions asked. He's going to be a lot of money. But, to be fair, who isn't? Soki, I see it. I see the Bruins logo. You must be happy with the Taylor Hall deal. Welcome. Like Keith and Seabrook's tier good? I would say he is. Yeah. He reminds me a lot of Brent Seabrook, actually. He's a right shot defenseman. He's going to need a contract soon. That's the only problem you have to worry about with him. I'm biased, but those dudes were top. No, that's a reasonable comparison for those guys. Now, according to Pierre LeBrun, it is picks and a player. The trade call hasn't happened yet, but that's the deal. So it's picks and a player. I would think the 12th overall pick tonight is going to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'd be very surprised, actually, if it doesn't. Shocked, surprised. Again, we'll have to find out what the actual deal is here shortly, and I don't think it's going to take long before it's out. But that's that. The extension is there as well. So it looks like it's a 7-year contract with the Chicago Blackhawks for Seth Jones. So he is going there, and he is getting a contract, long-term commitment to this team. And I don't think that's much of a surprise. I don't think that's a huge shock at all. I think that, there were a lot of teams that wanted Seth Jones. It certainly seems that way anyway. If it's Bachvist, Mitchell, yeah, I understand that. That's pretty fair. It sounded like there was a very desperate plea. There was a couple of names they wanted that I don't think they're getting in Columbus. It sounded like they wanted Bachvist. I don't know if they're going to get him. I think it's possible they get Bachvist. But they wanted a lot. They wanted a lot for him. They wanted Bachvist. They wanted DeBrincat for him. I don't see it happening. But that's the kind of names we're talking as a return for Seth Jones. No Doc, no DeBrincat. That's what it sounds like was the actual conversation. It sounds like they wanted him, and the Hawks essentially said, "We are not. We will die on this hill." And if I'm the Hawks, I mean, I don't blame them. Right? How could you? That's. I mean, it's a deal, but boy, you are risking a lot of your dignity by trading him. Doc or DeBrincat, either one of those guys, I think is a really risky deal. So I'm frankly happy that they didn't make that kind of move, and I think that probably is going to pay off for them. But to get Seth Jones, give him a 7-year deal. That's a good one. Okay, Elliot Friedman just released this, so we have more to give to you now. This is just in. We do have some of the return. Mike and chat, you're going to be very disappointed to hear this, it seems. It is Adam Bokvist going back in this deal. So Bokvist is on his way to the Columbus Blue Jackets. At least that is what we have heard so far. So there you have it. Adam Bokvist to Columbus on top of, I would assume, more. It does include at least one first rounder. There is at least another pick as well. This is per Elliot Friedman, who is just talking right now. Basically, he might as well talk into the microphone. The full package isn't certain yet, but there is at least a first rounder. There is another pick too. Not sure who it is. Not sure where it is, I should say. The Seth Jones deal, 7 years, $9.5 million AAV. That is a lot. That is 7 years, 9.5. So $66.5 million. Bokvist's not too mad about it. Okay, well, I'm glad you're not too mad. Yeah, that's a big one. That is a huge... That might be the deal of the day. And again, we saw that this was probably going to be the way the day went, right? We were under the impression that there was going to be that kind of move. That they wanted a deal done. And the deal is done. Columbus, boy, I think if you're a Columbus fan, and admittingly, I don't know many Columbus fans, I think you've got to be pretty happy with this deal, right? This is a great deal for you. I think the Hawks are disappointed with Bokvist. You might be right. I'm not a huge Bokvist guy, so I couldn't really tell you, but I wouldn't disagree with the thought that that might be the case. I think there was a lot of interest in Seth Jones, but I think at the end of the day, and it certainly seems this way now as well, the deal was quite clearly going to be whoever wanted to pay the price tag for him, and, well, here we are. This is the deal they wanted, and so it's the deal they get. I will see what that picks are. I'm going to try to get those as fast as I can. It sounds like, and, well, this is per Bob McKenzie, Mr. Margarita himself, the legend himself. He says, quote, I'll let the real working men nail it exactly. But multiple picks, including, and this is again per Bob, I believe Chicago's first this year, and they are going to get back the 32nd overall year, plus a player, which is Adam Bokvist, as well as picks for the future. So this is it's a big boy trade. It's a big boy deal. And I mean, what can I say? That's pretty interesting. I mean, if you're Chicago, that's your defenseman. That's your guy right there. 7-year deal. Huge money for him. And I don't think anyone is surprised by it, because it seemed like this deal was going to happen for about 1,000 years now. It seemed like weeks ago we were talking about this. We said it's going to be Jones. Bokvist is the only player we gave up. That's what it certainly seems like. The only thing I think is concerning is the amount of picks that Chicago is going to give up here. It sounds like it's more than a couple. It sounds like they're going to unload picks to get them. And that doesn't surprise me, because Chicago did not want to give up Doc or DeBrincat. They needed to do something, right? They needed to give something up, and it sounds like that's what this is. It sounds like the something is picks. And I'm not shocked if it is. So we'll see if that's the case or not, obviously. And we'll see. But again, I agree with you, Mike, in chat. I think that's not a bad deal. But it sounds like it'll be a flip. So Chicago gets the 32nd overall pick. And then they send the 12th for part of that deal. They want Doc's brother. I heard that. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I don't think they want... No, I don't think they wanted much from this draft either. And now, here's the thing that's important, by the way. I'm sorry, I had to take a break to drink water. I haven't shut up in a couple minutes. The interesting thing for Chicago, and for every team, is that this draft is very up in the air. Right? And for a draft that is so questionable, it doesn't surprise me if teams are going to go, whatever, right? Not surprised at all. So that seems to be what's happening here. Teams know that their picks are important, but not that important. And if you're Chicago, you want your number one defenseman for the next 7 years. I mean, boy, if you want to get rid of Duncan Keith and you want to keep the fans happy, this is a great way to do it, isn't it? It is a fantastic way to do it. The fans must be very happy about this. $9.5 million is a high price tag that I think anyone is willing to pay. I do. I mean, there were other teams that needed a defenseman. A handful of them. Okay, by the way, this just came up. Darren Dreger, it's actually an 8-year extension. 8-year extension for Jones. I think the cap hit is right, but it is an 8-year max contract for Seth Jones. 8-year contract at what I assume is 9.5. So here's the only worry I have about these kind of deals. And look, if there's any guy who deserves the money, it is Seth Jones. There's no question. He's 26 right now. So he will be in a very... I mean, he'll be 34. He'll be 34. They didn't want to get rid of him. He wanted to move Canada for his kids. Duncan Keith did. Yeah, I thought you meant Seth Jones. I was like, Seth Jones is from Texas. So I don't think so. But that is true. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's a good deal, though. I do. I think this is the type of trade that if you're Chicago and you have fans that are kind of disappointed about the whole thing of, hey, we lost a player. We lost multiple players. You probably want this to happen. I think you need to get a top defenseman. And so here you have one. Is the pay high to get him? Sure is. But again, I don't know if there's a way to avoid that. I'm trying to find an update right now, by the way, to the RSS feed. The one down below here. I'm just trying to find a updated version of this because it is getting kind of disgusting. So by the way, this is per Chris Johnson, for those of you who are curious. Contract detail-wise, Seth Jones, he has a year left on his current deal, meaning he will sign his 8-year extension on July 28th. He actually can't sign it yet. But the deal is there, and it sounds like it's pretty much done. So there you have it. Seth Jones, Chicago Blackhawk, and nobody is surprised. I don't think, anyway. I'm certainly not. And if you've been paying attention the past couple of weeks with Seth Jones's stuff, I don't think there's a reason to be surprised. I think if anything, you go, yeah, that sounds about right. So you have it. Big deal done. Another huge deal today. Welcome into the stream for those of you who are just joining. Join the Discord. We're having we got a live conversation. We got the stage open down here to chat your thoughts on the deal. Link is pinned in YouTube, and we sent it through in Periscope. But if you need it again, I can hand it out. I have it copied here on the desktop somewhere. Live in the NATO Power Discord as well, where we're talking Seth Jones, the Chicago Blackhawk. Seth Jones, everyone. Who I wouldn't have thought, unless you were me and thought that was going to happen. I guess. I guess that's it. So there you have it. Yeah. Kind of impressive. Kind of crazy. At least I certainly think so. What channel is the draft on? Going to be on ESPN2 and Sportsnet tonight. Friendly reminder that ESPN's contract with the NHL started with the expansion draft. So everything you see now will be Sportsnet and ESPN, or ESPN2 in this case, or TNT. I guess. That too. So, interesting. So we'll see what happens there. I'm still on a search to find a good RSS feed to pull some updated stuff from, by the way. It's not easy. Little did I know. Let's see. I guess this'll do. So we might have to kill the ticker for a second. You know what? It'll keep scrolling anyway, so you won't even know the difference. You're welcome, everyone. I thought it through. Apparently. We should get an update here in a second. Okay, perfect. Yeah, there you go. That's ESPN's ticker. And you can see the Blackhawks trade is on there, and Hall and whatnot. So, certainly seems like that would be a little more up to date anyway. And I guess we'll find out. But, well, that's all there is. So, here's what we have so far. Seth Jones, pick 32, going to the Blackhawks. Jones has an agreement for 8 years, $9.5 million, that can be signed no earlier than July 28th, which is when he enters the final year of his deal. Columbus gets Adam Bachfest, pick 12 overall, as well as a reasonable handful of future picks. I gotta tell you, I like Seth Jones. I'm a little skeptical on the price tag for him. It's a lot. It's a high price tag for a guy like Seth Jones. And I don't know. I know there's Blackhawks fans here in the chat. And perhaps there's Blue Jackets fans here who can kind of let me in on the secret as well. It seems like a lot. So we'll see. We'll see. Yes, we will. So chat, how we doing? I see there's a fair handful of you actually popped in since this trade happened. I assume the trade probably helped. I would think so anyway. Let's actually update the title of the stream really quickly. I guess we should do that, eh? All right, there we go. Fantastic. Honestly, I know nothing about Seth Jones. But the less players we give up, the better. The cap space is going to hurt. Yeah, so I mean, like, the 34-year-old Seth Jones, the question is he going to be as good as he is now, right? And I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is, right? What's the salary cap? Because it seems like peanuts to the NFL. I guess that's true. Yeah. So kind of a not so normal thing to other sports, but the NHL has a cap on their salary. So teams are only allowed to spend a certain amount of money on their team. And I guess the goal, per se, of this is that you would get, you know, you'd have the chance for smaller teams to do better, right? You'd have teams that are in smaller markets have the opportunity to sign just as good talent, and you wouldn't let other teams run away. For example, the Lakers in the NBA, right? Lots of money. The Yankees in Major League Baseball is another example of that too. Teams that have more money can do better. The salary cap tries to fix that from that happening, I guess. Certainly seems like it. So that's kind of it. That's how the cap works. It's weird. And there's a lot of questions as to whether it should even exist. And what do I know? But I'm just here. So that's all I have for you right now. I will bring this up. This is pretty funny. The Vegas Golden Knights, as usual, fantastic on Twitter. They do have a great Twitter account. They're one of the teams that have a good one. Here's what they just tweeted a couple of minutes ago, which is probably understandable. I agree, Vegas. I agree. And that's only as funny as you could think it would be until you find out that a few minutes earlier, prior to all the craziness going down, which I guess maybe never stops at this rate, but I think you know where this is going, by the way, chat. The Chicago Blackhawks, you guessed it, they also tweeted it. Yep. So there you have it. The Chicago Blackhawks. The salary cap, $81.5 million. Yeah, thanks, Colby, for tuning in on that. I don't have you set as a mod, really? I do now. There you go. Figured you would. So Chicago Blackhawks also in on the meme action. And we'll see. By the way, this is extraordinarily important to me. And Colby, since you're here, I think this is probably relatively important too to you. So really quickly, just this one's a freebie. All right, you don't get any more after this. So enjoy it while you can. But can I just really quickly, Colby?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
There you go. It is the weekend, everyone. And of course, the legend himself, the legend Daniel Craig, introducing him for us. Thanks, Dan. Great guy. That is interesting, though. It's going to take a long time. Time to set the ban hammer? Yeah, just ban the whole chat. Fuck it. Any fake trades and we're kicking them out. No. Maybe we won't do that. But it's really intriguing to me. I'm Craig Weekend. I don't think that's his name. But you know what? Do as you do, I guess. Heard the Blues already traded Blais and Dunn for draft picks, which sucks. Yeah, that is true. They did do that. This is in the Discord general chat, by the way. Yeah, it seems to be a thing that happened. Have you ever seen a game at the Bell Center? I haven't been to the Bell Center. Had the chance to go to Scotiabank Arena. I guess it's 2 years ago now. Saw the Jets and Leafs. I'm a Jets guy personally, so I got to see them. And that was the game with the overtime that didn't end. It didn't stop until the final horn blew. And that was a Jets win. So that was fun to see. That was very fun. Bell Center is right up there on the list, though. I would like to get to see a Habs game. Hopefully next season. In theory, I should have some time to do it, so I'll try to get out there. I kind of need to see Carey Price play, right? Kind of like it's like a bucket list thing as a hockey guy, I guess. But yeah, the Bell Center's up there. I'd like to do like a stadium tour, I think, at some point. That would be really fun. That's an awfully expensive thing to want, though, right? So, Jets put to deal Logan Stanley for hella value. I don't think they're going to trade him. But if they do, they would get a lot of value. So here's what happened, by the way, with Logan Stanley. And this is really interesting to me, actually. Here's how the deal went down. And we didn't know about this deal until the expansion happened. What ended up happening, the Jets protected Logan Stanley over Dylan DeMello, which was questionable to many because Dylan DeMello was on a pretty solid contract. So what are you doing? Well, now we know the rest of the league wanted Stanley. And there were teams calling about him. And the thought was that the Jets may have gotten screwed over if they gave up Logan Stanley, who is certainly younger, but you would potentially be losing out on a guy who is very solid and still young. So I kind of understand it. I do. As always, if you're enjoying these streams, I think I'll probably do more eventually. Do subscribe. I'll get a little notification here when you do, or at least I think I do. I guess we'll find out. I do appreciate all the love we've been getting today, and there has been lots of it. Make no mistake. So this has been a fun little ride for us, I think. And we'll try to continue covering it here as much as we can anyway. And God knows how long we'll be able to keep going for. The draft starting in about 45 minutes. We'll try and cover a little bit of that too. We're not going to go too far into the draft, I don't think. Depends on what the people want, I guess. We'll see. But as I said, join the Discord conversation live stage. We are chatting what's going on with Columbus. Is Seth Jones really worth $9.5 million per year until he's 34? The answer is probably not. But great guy, good defenseman. I remember the draft, he was snubbed. They thought he would go first or second, and then Colorado skipped on him. And I can't remember what the order was. Let me check. Because there was a few teams that picked on him, or that skipped on him, not picked on him. I mean, maybe. So the top prospect going into the draft, I guess, is what's worth looking at here, right? Into the draft, here's what we had. It was Seth Jones number 1, McKinnon second, Drouin third, Nurse fourth. This was a pretty solid draft, at least the top 5. I guess it kind of falls off after this. So I mean, you had Seth Jones number 1. This was going into the draft. He was the guy. And then fast forward to the draft, and guess what? Nope. Seth Jones fell. Tampa Bay passed on him, picked up Drouin. Boy, could you imagine Tampa Bay with Seth Jones instead. And Barkov went to Florida. Well, you can't really complain about that one, right? Now, here's an interesting one. If you just scroll a little further down to the 9th overall pick. Who is this? Oh, it's the new Canucks captain, Bo Horvat, which they acquired in a trade. Does anyone know where they got that trade for? Do you know what they sent to New Jersey? Because I sure do. And it's not a great answer. So, it's a rough look. It was the Corey Schneider trade, by the way. Mr. Capspace himself, Corey Schneider. Craig Morgan, still wondering if the Coyotes moved Darcy Kemper or Dvorak. A source suggested that Arizona wanted Newhook from Colorado, but that was rebuffed. First round picks might get the deals done. Apparently Boston's very interested in Dvorak. I don't think that's new. The trade isn't on cap friendly yet. No, the trade call is not done yet. That being said, there's no reason to assume the trade doesn't go through. So, it's as good as done. Or at least it certainly seems that way. Mac, good answer, by the way. Yeah, you got it right. So there you go. You nailed it. Really interesting. I gotta say, I am intrigued in so many ways about these trades and where they will end up being in a few years from now. And this is always the risk with this kind of thing, right? Just the problem. Chicago will only have $500K of cap. Yeah, so Chicago's going to run into, well, I mean, I guess cap problem isn't exactly the right answer necessarily, but it's certainly a cap situation they're going to have, right?
From Brendan Batchelor. Brendan,
and Jim Benning has just started his press conference about this whole shabacle, I believe is the correct terminology. So without further ado, I guess we will go to Mr. Benning, and we will see if we can get to him here in a second. I just screwed up, so give me 1 second. Very interested to hear what he has to say, though, because he has made quite an interesting decision. All right, perfect. Yeah, we have it now. Thank God. I figured it out. Here is Jim Benning on, I would assume, what he's going to be speaking of anyway, the trade for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So here he is. We'll go to him now.
So to be able to do that, plus, get rid of some contracts, I'm happy we got the deal done.
I think it's fair to say that Oliver has had a dip in play over the last couple of years. What do you see in his game that leads you to believe he can get back to being the kind of defenseman he was earlier in his career?
Yeah, I think, he was looking for a fresh start, and, he's excited to be coming into a hockey market that, the fans are really excited and, passionate about the team. He's excited to be part of our good young group of players that we've assembled so far. So, I talked to him about an hour ago, and, he's really looking forward to coming in to play for the team. And he's going to be, like, besides, what he'll do on the ice for us, he'll be a top pairing guy, can play a lot of minutes. PK can be a matchup guy playing against the other team's top lines. He's going to be a good mentor for our young players because, he was a high draft pick. He's gone through it. And so I think, his overall, what he's going to bring to our whole team is going to be immense, as far as from in the dressing room to help mentor our young players and what he does on the ice.
Okay, we'll take our next question here from Thomas Drance, The Athletic. Thomas, go ahead.
Jim, does this trade and bringing in a player of Connor Garland and Ekman Larsson's caliber, does this elevate your expectations for your team next season?
Well, like we said all off season, we want to be active. We want to be aggressive. We want to try to make our team more competitive. And, I think through adding, a player before the expansion draft in Jason Dickinson and the moves we made today, we want to continue to work. We have, the draft here coming up. We have free agency coming up. So we're going to continue to work hard to keep all of our options open and, try to make the team better for next season.
How important was it for you fundamentally to reallocate salary cap space from Eriksson, Roussel, and Beagle into players that could perhaps contribute more value to your club next year?
Well, I think it was huge. And, we didn't take lightly moving that 9th pick overall in the draft. That was a hard decision to make, but, we just looked at, everything that we could accomplish by doing it. And so, we made the decision as a hockey ops group to go ahead and do it. So, but like I said, part of this whole reasoning is that we got to take the next step as a team, and we have to make our team better going into next season.
We'll take our next question from Patrick Johnson, Post Media.
All right, so we'll dip off of that, but there you have it. That's Jim Benning, general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, talking about the deal of the day for Vancouver. And quite frankly, normally it would be the deal of the week, perhaps more. But because it is the season, it is not at all close. Because of course it's not, because it is a weird time. So we bring it back to our normal world, but you hear Jim Benning talking about the need to move on and move forward, get away from the contracts they had, and that he does not take trading that 9th overall pick lightly. And boy, I don't blame him, because you certainly hope that doesn't come back to bite you. And now I don't know if it will or not, but well, I'm just saying, it's it's always risky to do that kind of thing. That's all I will put to it. All right. And obviously, Ekman Larsson, great defenseman, very good. Now I would like to propose to you all a trade. This comes from our friends, the Vegas Golden Knights. And now they have a trade offer for all of us. So we'll go ahead and we'll make the decision right now. Okay, here it comes. Prepare yourselves accordingly. Here is the trade offer from the Golden Knights. What do we think? What are we thinking, everyone? I think it's a steal, right? Apparently not, though. I went for the deal. Apparently, the people are not happy about it. So, perhaps it's on me. Maybe it's my fault. My apologies to the Vegas Golden Knights. I ruined it for them. I gotta say, there's a lot of NHL GMs today I've seen that have kind of been confusing to me. Maybe that's just me. But a lot of the deals I have seen done have been very confusing. Give me 1 second. I gotta knock on my door, everyone. So stick around for a second. right, I apologize for that. I have returned. Till how long until the draft? I'm from Germany. It's 1:27 here. It'll be about 30 minutes. We'll get kicking off here in about 30 minutes or so. And we will try and cover it about as live as I can here. Though it seems we know who's going where. It certainly seems that way. And I suppose we can never fully, guarantee that's going to happen, but I think we know who's going where, at least to a certain extent. I think Owen Power is going to be the first overall pick. And I guess that's really all we can do for now. It certainly seems like it's Power first overall. I wish it was me first overall, Power. It's not me, though. Unfortunately. And we'll see where the rest of the pack ends up. But do stick around. For those of you who are here, thanks for popping in. Share the stream. Make sure everyone is watching. I appreciate all the love. All the support we've been getting here today for the stream. I do. I'll probably try and cover it again sometime. Maybe. I just gotta play a sound effect really quick. That's it? Okay, well, cool. We'll use that for something, I'm sure. So I just really quickly want to do this, because I think this is a fun idea, everyone. Alright? I do. Don't question me for this. It'll be 29 minutes here. Actually, it'll be 31 minutes, I should say. I lied to all of you. I'm sorry. So that should work, right? Yeah, okay, perfect. Here, I'm going to, just for you, because I realized you had a few people ask, I'm gonna put a timer up here in the corner. It's gonna take a second, so just bear with me, everyone. But I will do it because, yeah, it's kind of fair. A lot of people know when the don't know when the draft is, and well, I'm gonna help the situation. This is me being a good Samaritan right here. So mark your calendars. This is never gonna happen again. You know about Eliash, and if yes, where do you think he's getting picked? I've heard his name. I don't really know where he'll go necessarily, just because of the questions in this draft are quite extensive. There's a lot of questions in the draft. I mean, it's pretty done that Owen Power will go first and Beniers will go second. After that, I don't know if there is a consensus anywhere else. You know what I mean? I don't think there is. I really don't. Oh, sorry for the error sounds. I wish I could fix that so you don't hear that. I don't think there is, though. I'm just looking up to see if I can find his stats really quick. Let me pull him up. Because I know there are a couple, he is a name that I've seen potentially listed. Central Scouting has him listed 39th amongst EU skaters, which is not bad whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad idea. 5'8", 170 pounds. He's a center. Every team wants centers. Can't lie about that. Certainly can't hide that fact. Every team needs a center, and Eliash is probably a good name. I mean, I can't argue with that. He is second year eligible this year, so this will be his second year doing it. I believe he was in the World Juniors this year. He was. Hardly a surprise for Germans that he was there, apparently. He started a tournament. Wow, okay, so he had a really good World Juniors. That might be an interesting pick. Could be. It could be. And there could be a lot of that tonight, by the way, to be fair. Because this is a draft with a lot of question marks, right? We have a lot of names here who we are going to hear tonight and go, who? And that's because we have a draft where, really for the first time, maybe ever, we have a draft where, a lot of these scouts didn't get to see games get played, right? There's a lot of scouts that didn't get to see anyone do anything here. And that's just the way it is, I guess, but it is true. So we'll see. But hey, you know what? power to this Eliash guy. If he ends up being good, a team might be very happy with him. And that's going to be the rest of the night. That's going to be the whole day. It 100% will. And there's going to be a lot of teams who are very interested in how players do in the draft, I think. So really quickly here, I just about got this damn graphic done, and I do apologize for the delay, but, well, sometimes that's the way it goes, I guess. We're going to call this Draft Clock, everyone. All right? Hopefully this kind of helps out helps the gang a little bit. I'm sure it will. So let me just add this in really quickly. Draft Clock. Fantastic. I guess I got to add the actual clock itself, or else you won't really know. I guess I could do that. What is this called? Okay, perfect. Thankfully, I have a countdown here, so we're not actually totally screwed when it came to doing this. I came prepared. Apparently. I wouldn't go as far to say that, though. We're just going to really quickly... Just want to try and get this all centered properly for y'all. Group these as timer. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, fantastic. Oh, it kind of did. Okay, anyway, you can bring this in. This timer definitely works. So there you go. There's your draft clock, everyone. So we finally have one. You're welcome. Hopefully that helps out a little bit. We'll kind of keep an eye on that. So here is a bit of an update from the Mr. Kevin Weeks of ESPN. And I suppose I should say even though he's really only been a hockey guy for about an hour at this rate. He's just recently dipped his toe in the water here. But that's going to be the way it is for a while because it's... Oops, I deleted it. Sorry, everyone. That's going to be the way it is with ESPN taking over hockey, right? And I just want to move this clock around really quickly to make it look a little better. There you go. Reportedly, and again, this is all reports, so take it as you will. It sounds like the package going back for the Seth Jones deal. It sounds like it's Bachfist 2 firsts and a second. Take that as you will. That's a lot to give up, I think. Now, is it worth it or not? Well, maybe. I don't know, right? Perhaps it's a great deal that the team is excited about. I would certainly think the Blackhawks are happy that they got this done. I just don't know how happy you are that it got done. What happened to my graphic? What? Rough day for graphics, apparently, everyone. My apologies. Okay, well, let's go back to the main screen here because we at least have it there. I don't know what happened to the rest, so my apologies, I guess. That is quite a return package, though, for the Blackhawks. I gotta say, I think if you're the Blue Jackets, you're pretty happy with that. I do. I certainly would be, and that's saying a lot because I don't know how I feel about it. So, and again, I suppose that's kind of depending on who you feel is the better prospect, but. I don't know. I like the vibes that I see from Seth Jones. I've always thought he's a good defenseman. I do kind of worry that, you're giving up a very large list of prospects for this. And it's part of the game, I guess, right? It's part of the trade. Okay. Well, it didn't take long for this to happen, and I don't think any of you are going to be surprised about this necessarily. But in the fashion of, yes, it's Sportsnate, get over it. We do have, yep, you guessed it, everyone, another trade that is apparently coming through, and it is another Columbus trade. There you go. it is a relatively interesting one. I thought we may have seen this deal actually happen before. I thought we were likely to see this player actually picked up in the expansion draft. Didn't happen. That seems to be the way it is sometimes. We didn't see him get picked up. I'm just trying to... there we go. Okay. So here it is. This is the trade. Just happened. And this is as per Elliot Friedman, of course, the legend himself. It sounds like the Columbus Blue Jackets have acquired Jake Bean from Carolina. That would be a very interesting pickup for the Carolina Hurricanes, if I do say so myself. That is a very good defenseman for Columbus this year. Or, sorry, for Carolina this year, I should say. So it sounds like it's Jake Bean for a second-round pick tonight. And I got a question. If all it took was a second-round pick to get a guy like Jake Bean. And look, I mean, I'm not here to judge a player by who they are, right? But if that's all it took... I'm just saying, I wonder how many teams were interested in him and didn't even think of it. You know what I mean? I think there's got to be quite a few, right? Maybe it's just me. But this is a guy who just basically made his NHL debut and was on fire right from the start. I think it's a good deal. I think that's a great deal, actually. And we will see what happens for Jake Bean in the future of his career, which is, as mentioned, just starting. But, I mean, this is a guy who has seemed to be a relatively good player, and we'll see if he ends up... we'll see if he ends up pulling off any you shouldn't have done that moves, I guess is the correct term. All right, so there you have it. That's another trade. We weren't really expecting to see this one. But it is Jake Bean to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And that is all I have to say about that. I think it's a good deal. I think there's a lot of people who would think it is. Yeah. What else can I say? And perhaps there's other people here who have more info on Columbus or on Jake Bean himself that would have a better opinion. That's that. Here's the other good news. We finally have the actual details on the Seth Jones trade. The return, anyway, I guess I should say. So here it is. This is the full return that's going to be coming back for Seth Jones, and it is a lot. So hang on to your seats, folks. It is Seth Jones, the final pick of the first round tonight. So that's 32nd, remember, because Seattle. And a 6th round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks, coming back for the Blue Jackets. Adam Bachfest, the 11th overall pick, and a 2nd rounder, and the 1st round pick next year. So 2 1st round picks, a 2nd, and Bachfest for Jones, and a 6th and the 32nd 1st round pick tonight. And then, as mentioned, it is as expected. A 8-year deal, $9.5 million per. It's a heck of a trade. That is a big boy trade right there. If you're a hockey fan and if you're a Blue Jackets fan, I don't think you should be too mad about it. I understand why you would be, because it's, that's our guy, Nate. It's a very good player, Seth Jones, but you are getting back a heck of a lot. A very large amount is coming back for him. 2 1st round picks. Notably, one of them next year, when you would think the scouting will be better. And the Chicago Blackhawks weren't all that great this year. I realize getting Seth Jones, they probably are under the impression that that's going to change. But who knows, right? He could certainly be better. Or guess what? Maybe the number 1 defenseman for the Hawks isn't going to do it. That 2nd round pick, by the way, for Jake Bean... that is 44th overall, if anyone's curious. So 44th overall pick for Jake Bean. I think that's quite an underpayment for Jake Bean. And again, maybe it's just me. I guess I should probably go look up his stats before I start just ripping on a team. 2021 Carolina Hurricanes season with him. He only played 42 games because, well, it's not that long of a season. So 44 games in his total NHL career. Just a single goal, 11 assists, 12 points. So 12 points in 42 games. He was -2 this year. So, I mean, the stats don't really show that great for him. But quite frankly, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked great in the playoffs. He does have a playoff goal. I wonder if that's his only goal this year. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And perhaps that's what it is. But I thought he looked good. So, this is the type of deal that if you're a team, could be the guy, right? This could be your type of player that you look at and go, hey, this could be a very cheap free cash situation for us, and I don't think anyone would complain about it. You shouldn't be anyway, if you're a what? I absolutely can't. Oh. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think I'd be very happy with the deal. I would. I think it's a great deal for Columbus, especially as a team who just lost Seth Jones. You need to replace him with someone. There's your guy, right? There is your guy. Seth Jones is gone. Not good news. How are we ever going to recover? I figured it out, everyone, right? You get a guy back who can really take on the role of a leader, I guess not a leader. Perhaps that's a little excessive. But who can take on the role of a solid defenseman in Jake Bean. He's an NHL level guy. There's no questions about that. And so now you have it. Columbus gets a new defender back. I don't mind it. Where can I watch the draft from Europe? It's going to be on ESPN2. I think ESPN Plus will have it, and Sportsnet in Canada as well. Obviously, if you're in Europe, you won't be able to see it there, but that's that. Here's an interesting thing for you, by the way. This is I just saw this. Elliot Friedman on Sportsnet 960. I believe that's in Edmonton. Sounds like Edmonton offered a 6th for Hyman sign and trade. Toronto said no. They thought it wasn't enough. Another GM told him 6 wouldn't be enough for him to do it in the same situation with valuable cap space. So, I mean, I'm just saying. What are they going to give up is the question now. I mean, the thing about Zach Hyman is he's going to be a free agent, right? So do you try and fight this and say, we don't care, we're going to keep him? Because if you do, you're running yourself your own risk, right? I don't know. I do not know who I would work with there. I realize Edmonton wants him badly. I do too. If I were Edmonton, I'd also want him badly. I just don't know if I'd want him badly enough to do that, I guess. To each their own, I suppose. So, we are 15 minutes from the start of the NHL entry draft. God knows when it'll actually start. It obviously isn't going to be literally now, but we will be covering it here live. So for those of you who can't watch it, we will have I'll have coverage here for you. Yeah, this is it. And I'm looking forward to the draft. It's a wild year. I think it'll be a wild draft too. I think it's more fun that way. So we'll see what happens. And again, if you guys are enjoying, please do subscribe. And we'll see how many subscribers we can get out of it, I guess. If you really enjoy, you can donate, but I'm sure as hell not going to force anyone to do that. Because it is your money. And also, it's YouTube. You can go on Twitter and do this if you wanted to, right? But in a world where I don't have ESPN, I don't have cable. Not many people do, to be fair. So here's an interesting little caveat, by the way, to that trade. The 44th overall pick that Columbus is trading for Jake Bean is actually the pick that they just acquired from Chicago. So they flipped the pick. Cool, right? That's what I thought. So it's actually a flipped pick. There you have it. So it's not It's not a turns out it's not as crazy as we thought, I guess. And I'm not surprised by it either, for being totally fair. So I'm just setting up a couple of things here while we start the while we get ready for the draft. So if you guys have any questions, any opinions or anything you want to share, now's your chance, I guess. By the way, Seth Jones has a full no movement clause. Take that as you will. He has a full no movement clause. Oh boy. I don't know how I feel about that. If you want Seth Jones, I guess you got to give up that kind of stuff, right? But are you sure? Right? Are you sure you're willing to give up that level of craziness? I guess not. Or well, I guess so for some. But you wouldn't catch me doing that kind of deal. There's no way. But congratulations to Seth Jones and his family, I guess, as well. So our first overall pick is coming up soon. We're 10, 11 minutes away from the start of the coverage of the draft, though. I would be willing to assume the first overall pick won't be made immediately. Maybe I'm wrong, though. That's certainly possible. Again, I'm excited. I always liked the draft. I thought it was... I mean, it is exciting to see, you know, the future of a franchise potentially get selected, right? And for the Buffalo Sabres, who happen to hold the first pick this year, I mean, boy, is there a team who needs this more than Buffalo? Right? I don't think there is. If they do. If there is, I'd like to know who it is. That's for sure. And I would certainly think the pick's going to be Owen Power. Again, I have no prior knowledge of this at all, but I would think it's going to be... Jesus. I would think it's going to be Owen Power. He seems like the guy that everyone has pegged first overall. From everything I've seen about him, too, he is... Yeah, he's your guy, you know? That's the guy who you're going to try to build a team around. And, again, we're in a time where it's kind of hard to tell. But, yeah, coverage begins in 10 minutes. ESPN2 in the US, Sportsnet in Canada, here on YouTube, apparently, because I'm the draft guy now. And I do thank you all for coming in, and I apologize for the error sounds that you're getting from my poor computer, which is struggling to keep up with a busy day, I would assume. I know that's not the actual reason, but it's a nice one, you know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be Owen Power first overall. And then the Seattle Kraken have the second overall. So speaking of teams that kind of need a guy, that's probably a guy, right? I'm not sure who they take, quite frankly, because how would I? But I think that's a very interesting thing for an expansion team to have the ability to do. For the ability to draft second overall. And in a draft where it's not really, you know, no one really knows who's going to. That's the key here. We don't know who's going where. So we'll see. We sure will. And I hope for the best for all the players. I'm a Jets fan, so I have to wait a while for this one. For once, I don't get the happiness of... I don't even know what the term would be, I guess, but the happiness of seeing a player very early. Not a bad problem to have, but normally that's the thing I get to do. Not today. So that's that. How's chat doing? Hope we're all well. I see a few people have joined the Discord. That's good. If you haven't joined it yet, do so. It's pinned. It's also in the description of YouTube, so either one of those, however you want to get in here. Happy to have you in there. We've had like a couple hundred people join in the past couple days. Kind of insane. Oh, and here is an interesting caveat to the Seth Jones trade, because there's more. That's right. You know what? Fuck it. It's breaking news. Boom. Breaking news right there for you. The 2022 first round pick that Chicago trades will become a 2023 first rounder if the pick is number 1 or 2. There you have that. Take that. Bro, where can I watch the draft for free? Man, I don't know. I'm looking for links too, quite frankly. I'm sure there's going to be some around. And if I can find one, I'll probably post one in Discord as well. For everyone else who's trying to get in on it. I would be hard pressed to think there won't be availability for it legally. And like I said earlier today, I wouldn't be totally shocked if a network actually streams it, because that's not totally uncommon right now. Not at all uncommon. Please do so. Yeah, I'll see if I can find one. If I get one, I'll definitely try and share the wealth a little bit. But yeah, it's hard to say. Like I said, not hockey. Networks themselves have been trying to, I guess, I don't really know how to describe it, but I guess that's a pretty good way to describe it, actually. They've been working to try and keep the people happy. And by doing that, they've basically just decided to go full send. And I guess go for it and just live stream stuff to YouTube and whatnot. And honestly, good for them. It makes sense for them to do it. I'm happy they do it. I think it's a good thing for the networks, I think. But yeah, so for those of you who are here thinking there's going to be an illegal stream on YouTube, sadly not. I'd love to do it for you. I like my channel. Unfortunately, I like my channel. So I'm going to keep it. Thank you for your thoughts and well wishes, though. But yes, I will let you guys know if I get elite access, I guess. Music? We good? Oh, there is music. Okay, I couldn't hear it. My apologies. I don't know if you guys couldn't just think I'm having a stroke now, but quite possible that that's the case. Yeah, 8 years at 9.5 for Seth Jones sure is a lot of money. Oh man. Again, good for him getting earn his bank, but yeah, I don't know if I would be. If I'm a Hawks fan in chat, I don't know if I'm a big fan of that one at all. And again, maybe you are. And if you are, hey, good for you. You just got a top defenseman. I suppose that's the pro, right? You get one of the best defensemen available. I still don't know if I'd like it though. But say la vie. Welcome to sports, everyone. Right? I am looking for ways to watch this, by the way, live. Oh, Jesus. My bad. Sorry, just decided to break everything. But for now, there's probably not much I can do. We'll have to wait it out like good people. Like good people we are. So how are we doing today, folks? Are we having a good day? I hope so. Oh, I just fucked up something. Oh, I see what I did. I'm sorry, everyone. Again, I realize high quality shit right here. At least you got some banger tunes playing though, eh? That's for sure. That's kind of how I have to relax prior to a draft. It's a big day. Coyotes may not be done making wheeling and dealing. Could be in play for another first round pick tonight. There is something interesting for you. I don't know what to feel about that necessarily, but if you're a Coyotes fan, hey, good news. You may have another pick coming your way. The question, of course, and this is kind of always the question, I guess. Who and what are you giving up for that? Or what are you taking? Because that's what the Coyotes have been doing. They have been taking a lot of cap space, and maybe that's what they want to do. Certainly possible. So yeah, maybe that is the plan. Maybe that's the game plan for them. Maybe they are willing to take on just all the cap space in the world. Apparently keep an eye on the Sharks and the Devils. That's Kevin Weeks himself, by the way. Again, I have no way of telling you anything that's going to happen because I don't really have any insider info. But apparently keep an eye on those two teams. We'll see what's going on between those two. And it may not even be that there's something between them, right? That's certainly possible. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually what the problem is, quite frankly. So anyway, here we go, everyone. It's just about draft time. There you go. So we have ourselves the draft coverage. We're getting ready to start here, and we will do so shortly when the first pick comes in, whenever it decides to do it. And it should be pretty soon. So welcome everyone to the draft coverage officially on the channel. We've had 400 people plus here tonight stop in at some point. So really appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the coverage, if you're grateful for me doing it, please do subscribe. Where are you watching? Right now, I still don't have a link. I'm still looking. I will let you know. I think I have one now, actually. So here, give me 1 second, guys. I will put it in the Discord, as I mentioned. If I can find one, I should say. I guess. Probably important. So there you go. I just posted in the general in the Discord for anyone who wants that and wants to stick around here and kind of have it on as a secondary thing. Which who could blame you? So I'm just really quickly looking for... Thank you. No problem, man. I'm glad I can help. So Columbus, or sorry, too much Columbus talk today, everyone, quite frankly. Not Columbus. Buffalo today with the first overall selection. It seems like it's going to be overall consensus. It's Owen Power. I would think. I don't know who else it would be. It seems like Owen Power goes first overall. So we'll see. We'll see. We're getting ready for everything to go down today. And it will be big. Owen Power defenseman too. I believe he was in the Big Ten, right? Yeah. Boy, what a time to be a Michigan State student, by the way. Just want to throw that out there, eh? This is a school who is probably going to have a student from their school go first and second. It's insane. I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't know if a school period has had a player go that overall, for being honest. Like, I don't even know if we've had him go in the round. And I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. Not at all surprised if we didn't, actually. I think that's pretty realistic to say. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Of course, Jeff.
So I've just pulled it up. Sportsnet and ESPN, by the way, are simulcasting, for those of you who are curious. So don't worry about that. We will see what happens. It's exciting times to be a hockey fan, Mezemi. It is. I'm just trying to pull up something really quickly here, if I can. I don't know if I'll have time, but... I'm just seeing if we can get the draft order to be our text thing instead, the feed in the bottom, because that might be a better idea now that I think about it. Right. Oh, and I realize I think it's NHL Network is actually where that is now that I think about it. So, my apologies. But, whatever, shut up. Sorry I got it wrong, everyone. Feeds. Alright, there we go. Yeah, we'll run with that. Sure. Oh, Buffalo Sabres #1. Alright, well, that's not quite what I expected to see. Oh, it's because the end of the lines there? Oh, dear. I see. Well, I mean, I guess that is good to have them there, but yeah, that's not quite what we want. Alright, give me a second, folks. I will have this fixed in a moment. I just gotta do some quick clacking on the keyboard. Unexpectedly, but at the same time, am I really that shocked? And this is updated, by the way. So I do actually have the correct numbers in. All right, let's throw that in there. There you go. That's a little bit better. It's kind of ugly looking, if we're being honest, but whatever. It is the order, and it is correct. So, good enough for me. So NHL entry draft. It is game time. It's the big one. We've got our sound effect for every time the pick is in. It'll sound like this. Cool. I could care less what the sound sounds like, but you have to have one, right? It's kind of like the rule. Obviously, we don't have the privilege of the NBA, and I think the NFL uses that sound too. The sound they both use, like that dun 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 dun. You know what I'm talking about. There's that, but we don't have that privilege, unfortunately. So I do apologize for that. So 'tis all there is to say, everyone. Other than thanks for showing up. We are going to, the party is not over yet, that's for sure. But we got ourselves a draft to cover. So that's that. The pick not in yet, obviously. We're still waiting on that. And again, it'll be a few minutes before that even comes in. Probably worth looking at this. This is pretty cool. Little photo op from the Seattle Kraken here just came in. And you can probably understand why this is the caption too. If you're a Seattle fan, the caption here, feeling good. I bet they are second overall pick tonight for Ron Francis and his brand new team. Chance at what it looks like it's going to be Beniers. But again, who am I to say? It sounds like it's going to be Beniers. We'll see. This is going to be a fun draft. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure. Now, obviously, we've had a bunch of trades, so I'm going to expect that media is going to kind of milk this a little bit. I would think they do. I don't know if they do though. So we should be, I think we're pretty much ready though. Yeah, you know what, really quick, I don't even care. I'm going to test this out really quickly. Well, we have a few minutes. So there is our screen, everyone. Check that out right there. Boom. And we will have our draft pick available. So everything is good to go, which is good. So thank goodness for that. Yeah, so we're as ready can be, I think. Obviously we're still waiting on the order and all that to kick off, but I would think that should be pretty soon. The Arizona Coyotes, by the way, just tweeted out a giant thank you thing for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. That's gotta suck for them, I would think. I mean, you have to be sad about it, right? I certainly would be. You know what? Screw it. We've got some time to kill here. Let's really quickly watch this. This is the Arizona Coyotes and their thank you to their longtime franchise defenseman, now Vancouver Canuck. And to get used to saying this, Vancouver Canuck, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So here it is. Maybe. Come on, guys. I was just watching it. Uh-oh. Did I jinx it? Hold on, everyone. All right, well, try that again in a second here. Okay, we have it ready this time. It's no joke.
The Phoenix Coyotes are proud to select from Leksand, Sweden, Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
The right pick for the right team.
Sets it up, a shot, Ekman-Larsson, they score! Yes, who? The captain, Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
He's a down-to-earth guy who really does care about other people and about the mission of the organization.
That's why I want to be there and try to help them to have a chance in the future.
Ekman-Larsson shoots, he scores! Ekman-Larsson, he shoots, he scores! Ekman-Larsson, nibbles, and they score!
So there you have it. That is Oliver Ekman-Larsson, his goodbye video from the Arizona Coyotes, a team who got a heck of a lot back for him. So I kind of understand the reasoning. All right, back to the chat while we wait for our draft coverage to start here very soon. Icy Finn, cool name, by the way. Hey, I'm a pretty new hockey YouTuber, not trying to self-promote, but I've been feeling a little discouraged lately. I need advice. Got some great advice for you, actually. This is the first time I've ever done a hockey stream ever on this channel. I'm a gaming YouTuber. I don't do sports stuff very often. So this is the first time I've ever done it. And it's just a matter of getting to it. I mean, I think it's important to, like, you know, find something unique. So, like, there's a lot of YouTubers now who do, like, specific stories, right? Like, weird stories of the sports and whatnot. That's a pretty common one, I think. But that seems to be the way it is. And just keep pushing for it, man. Just keep working for it, and it'll work out. It's the way YouTube is. In a perfect world, we'd have the rights to broadcast all this stuff here, but times are tough, right? We don't quite have that option, but what are you going to do? And trust me, guys, by the way, if I could, I would. I promise I would. But that's just not it's not something I have the ability to do. Appreciate it. Hey, man, good luck. I hope it works out for you. I have, like, I've hated myself for YouTube for a while now, and I've just kind of given up on it a bunch of times. You just gotta push through it. It's one of those things. If you want to be good on YouTube, you just gotta fight and fight and fight, and it'll work out. Might take a while though. So Owen Power, likely to go first overall. Some stats for you: 3 goals, 13 assists, 18 plus 18 in 26 games this year with Michigan. Now, albeit that 26 games, not many. From Mississauga, Ontario. He's a tall defenseman, scoring defenseman. Huge for him. And, of course, kind of a side story, the final Hughes brother will be drafted tonight. Jack and Quinn have both been drafted. Luke Hughes, this is his draft year, so we will see him probably get drafted today. And I believe Quinn and Jack are both there with him at the same time to celebrate with him, so that's pretty cool. You like to see that. And we'll see how that goes. I would assume he gets drafted pretty reasonably high. I mean, no pressure on him, I guess. He has two brothers who were, well, drafted reasonably high, both of them. Jack obviously was the first overall, but, you know. Yeah, so that's that. Like I said, I'd love to share my screens with you guys and show you the stream, just straight up put the feed on the screen, but my channel would go by very fast, and I would rather not have that happen. So, like I said, it is on ESPN2 as well as Sportsnet. Go watch it there. Feel free. And also, I have sent a link for those of you who don't want to pay. ESPN literally stole the NHL Network and MLB Network studios. Is that really what they did? That doesn't all that surprise me. I mean, it is an ESPN thing, right? So I kind of understand why they would. It is kind of a dickish move, though. I won't lie. But that is pretty funny if that's what they did. But hey, you're ESPN. You got all the money in the world. You might as well just enjoy it, I guess, right? That is one thing that it's going to be very good for them. I think for ESPN, and it's good for the NHL because the money that is being put into the league is a much higher than, I think it's double what NBC had. So in theory, if there were no pandemic, and I realize obviously that's not the case, there was, but obviously in the case that we are in, well, that's a lot of money to go into the salary cap in the future. And we'll see if that happens. I just added some extra spacing, by the way, on the bottom line because I realized there's a lot going on there. So I think that'll make it a little better. Maybe. Anaheim requested to trade to the first overall. Elliot Friedman just on ESPN2 and Sportsnet and whatnot just now. By the way, for those of you who missed it, apparently Anaheim did ask Buffalo to give them the first overall pick. Didn't go anywhere, obviously. We would have known. It's the NHL Network bottom line opposed to the ESPN. Okay, I was going to say, because, yeah, I see NHL Network's graphics and stuff, so that must be why, I guess. Interesting. That's pretty funny, I gotta say. That is hilarious, actually. What am I supposed to say, though? Am I surprised? No. Right? Like, of course not. I need that to be overridden, please, and thanks. Oh, I realized I just did a bunch of useless work. Okay, there we go. Yeah. We will see how tonight goes for the draft. It's always exciting. It sure is. And so tonight is another exciting night. So. Here we go. We're getting close to the pick, I hope. Fucked if I know at this point, but I would hope. I would think you would be. In all fairness. But again, thank you to everyone who's been chatting around and chilling here for a while. If this was the NFL or NBA draft, they would have all kinds of crazy graphics and special hype videos and whatnot. Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of surprised if we don't... And I guess this is kind of the different thing, because NHL Network usually always has this for their own, right? Will be very interesting if we don't have any anything like that, though. If it's the NHL Network that's producing this, I kind of understand, right? Like, kind of makes sense, because I don't think their caveat is doing really cool graphics. Tell you what, guys, if I have better graphics than the than NHL Network, This is a big day. This could be it for me. This is my big break. Maybe they'll hire me. Anyone got contacts with the NHL Network? Perhaps. Possible. Appreciate that, by the way, man. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Pittsburgh Sports all the time, by the way. Good name. I suppose you're a Penguins fan, right? I would sure hope so. I would sure think so, too. But yeah, we'll see. Boy, this has been a crazy draft so far. And we haven't even started yet. Tons of trades, tons of everything. Love to see it. I do like me a good deal. And again, we'll see what happens tonight. I think we got a wild draft ahead. I think we're gonna see a couple more moves happen, personally. Like, I think we'll see a couple of trades happen in the middle of the draft. It's kind of that type of thing. You know what I mean? At least I think it is. But again, I'm kind of here. I'm just here for the fun, you know? We'll see what happens. It is draft season, after all. All right, so Gary Bettman speaking right now, by the way. He is doing his chatter. Obviously, the draft is, I think it's technically, I don't know where, is it even, I think it's just in the building tonight, right? I don't think there's actually a host. Pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah. It's going to be an important peak for the future. The two-headed monster will not be there forever. That's a very good point. A lot of Penguins fans I know would not admit that to me. They would say Malkin and Crosby will keep this team together forever. You are very right. Crosby is getting older. I mean, he's still great. No question about that. All right, really quickly, see if I can get the sound for Gary here. I don't know if we'll... oh, it is in Montreal, I guess. The draft is in Montreal. It's just that there's no fans there, I would assume. No, okay, it's next year. It is next year. Next year's draft, 2022, is in Montreal, and in front of what they hope is a sold-out crowd. So I guess technically it's there this year, but no one's there to watch it, so who cares, right? That's what it is, chat, I think. I'm not a pro on this. Hey, Colby, are you in chat still, by the way? I don't know if Colby's in here or not. I don't know how accurate the participants list is. I don't think it's very accurate whatsoever. Oh, well. So Gary Bettman's just right now talking and thanking ESPN for being here and whatnot, which, I mean, I guess who could blame Colby, unfortunately. Okay, cool. Yeah, I respect that. Fuck you, too. And again, I think I'll try to do more hockey coverage eventually. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. And more importantly, what the hell am I supposed to cover? A live event like this is easy because it's very easy to figure out what to cover. It's a three-headed monster with Jake. That's true. Gensel's been very good. He is one of those guys that Pittsburgh just clawed away and took him. And he has been a very good player. I don't think it hurts that he plays with Crosby and Malkin all the time. But podcast? Dear God, Colby, don't do that to me, please. All right, Buffalo is officially on the clock, everyone. So there you have it. The clock is ticking for Buffalo. They missed the playoffs the last 10 seasons for Buffalo. Poor bastards. That is the worst record in the league for missed playoffs altogether. The Buffalo Bills have been great. Not the Sabres. And they've got a few first overall picks. Rasmus Dahlin in 2018. Turgeon in 87. Perreault in 70. We're going way back, but hey, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? So top four order, for those of you who don't know, it is Buffalo first overall, as you can see on the bottom bar here. Then it is Anaheim. Then it is New Jersey. Owen Power, you would think, is going to be a first overall type of guy. I sure as hell would think it is. But, well, who knows? It could be a crazy event. It could be, right? That's the kind of stuff we're in for tonight. We could be in for a crazy pick. And you know what? If we are, yeehaw, baby. I love to see it. I'm a big fan of crazy deals like this going down. And if this is the kind of thing we have to get with, then I am totally cool with it. I guess that's probably not the right thing to say, but whatever. I don't care. I like crazy drafts and stuff, man. What can I say? I like a good draft where everything goes not at all as expected, right? I think you guys understand what I mean, though. Colby, if you want to actually do a hockey podcast, by the way, you better have some, like, severe knowledge. You know what I mean? You better have a lot of knowledge. Or I will cry. Because I can't. Because I can't even. You know what I mean? No? All right, so we're coming up on it here. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. I realized I could have kept the clock. The clock could have been kept up, I guess. Oh, I just updated the fucking list again. Damn it, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, well. We're not... I'm a former hockey player, IRB Sportsnet. I don't know if... I mean, hey, you know what? Go for it. All right. There it is, everyone. This shouldn't be a surprise to any of you. But with the first overall selection, that's right. The Buffalo Sabres do select Owen Power. So there it is. Owen Power, the first overall selection. Huge celebrations for Buffalo. This is another first overall pick for the Buffalo Sabres. Will this be the guy that Buffalo finally gets to build around? We will find out. Right? That's the question we have. I don't know if he's going to be the guy or not. But if he is, power to him. I hope he does well, right? It's going to be very interesting, though, to see how the Buffalo Sabres handle it. I think he's got a good future. He seems like he's been a good player. So the Seattle Kraken, by the way, now on the clock, for those of you who are curious. So that's kind of fun. All right, well, anyway, that's that, folks. Our first pick is in. It is the one and only, the legend himself. I don't know, maybe that's a little excessive, right? But it is Owen Power. And I would think it's... I can't remember what his name is now. Is it Kivlenets or something like that? Goes second overall? We're going to find out. And we'll find out quite quickly. But for the first time, and this is kind of cool, I guess. For the first time in their history, the Seattle Kraken are on the clock, everyone. So this will be the first time I get to post this thing, too. So let me just really quickly update this. It's kind of a wild one. But, yeah. For the first time, Seattle, good luck. You have a second overall pick in your first year of being a team. Don't mess it up, man. I mean, it's going to be hard to screw this one up, I think. But, hey. I mean, we've seen weirder, right? Oh, Beniers is the guy, by the way. I got his name wrong altogether. I don't know why. And this would be another Michigan pick, by the way, for them. So again, kind of a wild potential for this for Seattle. They may actually end up having the pick of the second Michiganer in a row, and I think it's possible that it happens. Who's your favorite team? I'm a Jets guy, unfortunately. Well, I guess not unfortunately. It's certainly not the worst option, but yeah, I'm a Jets guy, Winnipeg fan, and I'm still mad about Patrick Laine leaving, by the way, if you're curious. I will never be upset about, well, I'll never be happy about it, I guess I should say. So here we are, second overall pick. Seattle's on the clock, about 2 minutes left to go on that. We'll see if they need the full 2 minutes. I think it's Beniers. I think it's a clear pick here. But perhaps it's not as clear and concise as I think so. By the way, kind of cool, Seattle's draft room is in the Space Needle. Which, neat, I guess, right? Cool for them. Seattle's going to have a reasonable team, I think. A lot of people have kind of said, like, oh, they're going to be absolutely horrible. I think you guys are crazy. I think they're going to be okay. Maybe it's just me, right? But I don't know. I think they got a pretty good team. Not watching the draft anymore. I'll just watch the Olympics. Yeah, fair enough. Right? You don't have a pick again? Man, Pittsburgh has gotten rid of a lot of firsts. I didn't even think about that. We aren't going to go too far into the draft anyway. We'll do the first, like, I don't know. We'll do at least the top 10, I think. If anyone wants me to go further, then maybe we'll consider it. But we've had it's been a busy day. And Seattle is on the clock. We'll see if they, we'll see. And the pick is in from Seattle. You know what? Fuck it. Here's Gary Bettman.
Needle in Seattle. General manager of the Seattle Kraken, Ron Francis, will make the number 2 selection.
On behalf of Mr. David Bonderman and our entire ownership group, I'd like to thank the commissioner and the 31 member clubs for welcoming the Seattle Kraken into the National Hockey League.
You're so welcome.
On behalf of our passionate fans, I'm proud to make a historical first ever amateur draft selection for our team by choosing from the University of Michigan, Matthew Beniers.
Wow. And he has the jersey ready and everything. So this was premeditated. So Matt Beniers, there it is. Second Michiganer in a row to go. Whatever Michigan's putting in their food, it worked. So there you have it. It won't be 3 in a row, obviously, but there you have it. Matt Beniers, the Seattle Kraken, number 2 prospect overall. I mean, he had a plus 21, 24 games, 10 goals, 14 assists. He's a solid center. That's a good player for Seattle. If you're starting a team, that's the type of guy. Great internet connection for Beniers? Yeah, wasn't great, eh? I think that's a great pick, though. I do. I think that's a good option for them. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. That is that done. Or I shouldn't say that's that done. So Matt Beniers has been selected. We go next to the Anaheim Ducks, who have the 3rd overall pick. This one's a little questionable. I think it's going to be Dylan Guenther. I could see a couple of people going here, if we're being totally honest. I could see Edvinsson going. That's a solid defenseman if they want to go the defense route. I would think he drops, though. Luke Hughes, obviously a good option, though I think it's more likely that you see him go to New Jersey, just so New Jersey gets the excuse of having the family sort of event. Hope Hextall doesn't trade our pick away every year like Rutherford. I don't think Hextall's that type of guy. That's the vibe I get from him anyway. I don't think he's the type. I mean, from what we saw of him in Philadelphia, he wasn't the type to do that. He was pretty consistent with his moves and stuff. Now you got Brian Burke working there too, so I guess maybe I'm fucking crazy. But, well, we'll see, I guess. So the 3rd overall pick is the Anaheim Ducks. This is going to be an interesting one, actually. I'm not sure who it's going to be. I do think it's Guenther. It seems like that would be the case. If it is Dylan Guenther out of the WHL, by the way, who was playing for the Edmonton, I think it's the Oil Kings. Yeah, it is. I think he's a pretty good option. So we'll see if we'll see if that's the way they decide to go, or maybe they're going to fuck me over here and choose a different pick. Would that be a surprise? Nope. Not at all, it wouldn't. From what I see, your channel's not a sports channel. Yeah, no, it is not a sports channel at all. I was saying to someone earlier, look, I'm a big NHL fan. I always have been. And I figured we'd try something different and see what the reaction was. It seems to have been pretty positive, which is good. So, like I said earlier, maybe this is something we do again in the future for something. I don't know what I'd be doing, per se, but I'm not against it. You know what I mean? We will see. But I do appreciate all the love tonight. We'll see how many people total came and viewed the stream later. I'm excited to see that stat because I think it's going to be pretty high. So we'll see. The Anaheim Ducks are on the clock. The pick should be in here any second, I would think. But for Owen Power, my honest to God, the reason I'm happy Owen Power went 1st overall, chat, that means I get my name in NHL finally, in EA Sports. It used to be POW. It was just P-O-W-E. Get the fucking R. Finally. Another high American pick. American hockey is growing. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's a lot of Canadians out of here too, but you're totally right. There's a lot of Americans going here. I mean, your top 2 picks were American, were they not? Oh, actually, I don't know if they were. No, I guess not, because Owen Power's from Mississauga, right? Yeah. But Matt Beniers is not. He's a I don't know where he's actually from. Let me check. He's from Massachusetts, yeah. So there you go. Another American player going high overall. That is good, very good news for American hockey. Fantastic news. And good for them, because if there's one thing that is good for hockey, it is the sport growing. It really is. So I'm happy for that. I know a lot of Canadians I know who are pissed about it. They're like, I can't believe the sport's falling apart in Canada. It's not falling apart at all. It's the opposite, actually. Quite frankly. It's that the sport is growing everywhere else. And that is good news for everyone. All right, we'll do another few picks here. We'll see how far we go. And I don't really know how far. I am Canadian. Yeah. Yeah, I am. Yes, sir. But yeah, no. Sports growing in Canada is a very good sign. Anaheim apparently more likely to go off the board a little bit and take Mason McTavish. Interesting. There is a change of pace. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. That's a center from the OHL from Peterborough. He's a Peterborough Pete. He was a good Peterborough Pete as well. So it kind of checks out if they do go that way. We're going to find out here in a second. The pick will be in when they stop airing ads for what I think might be the worst thing on television, or period. Which is, of course, the NHL Gaming Esports Championships. Hey, EA. If you want me to watch that, maybe don't have a game be garbage. I expect the ESPN deal would help. Yeah, the ESPN deal is hugely important. Now, it was on NBC before. It's not like it was on a nobody network, right? But it is, yeah, it's very important. It's very good news that ESPN's in on it again. ESPN has the networking that they don't, you know? That's all it is. All right, the pick is in for the Anaheim Ducks, who, by the way, and all the teams have interesting draft rooms. Theirs, by the way, is just on the ice level floor at the Honda Center in Anaheim, which is interesting. So we'll see who it is. Is it Dylan Guenther or is it someone else? I would think it's probably going to be a forward. I don't know. I mean, it could be Guenther. It could be McTavish too. They need scoring. Their scoring was bad last year. Like, really quite bad. So Anaheim needs help. We will see if they're going to get it. I certainly think so. They got a lot of good picks that they've got over the couple years. Zegras is good. I think they got Drysdale last year, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good pick as well. They aren't nobody, right? So we will see. All right. 99% of the games were on NBC Sportsnet, which is shutting down at the end of the year. Yeah, exactly, right? If they have it on TNT and ESPN, I think it's certainly an upgrade. All right, Anaheim making the pick. Here we go. We will see who it is. Anaheim with their third overall selection. This is a great pick for them. They need this, by the way. Just my thoughts, I guess. Who is Anaheim going to take? It is indeed Mason McTavish. So there you go. So they pick a little younger, or a little further down the draft than many may have expected, I guess. Maybe that's the right way of putting it. And Mason McTavish goes third overall. This is a guy who in 57 games with Peterborough last year, not this year, 29 goals, 13 assists in 57 games. Hey, that's pretty good. He's a good shooter. He has a great shot, it sounds like. So for Mason McTavish, probably a good sign for him. So there you have it. So the good news, if you're New Jersey, it looks like you're going to get Luke Hughes. Brotherly affair. Any chance they get any chance they go after Guenther now? I don't think so, but and speaking of Luke Hughes, by the way, it's another American. Just saying. I am just saying. So, you want to talk about a American players doing good? Guess what, baby? That's right. It is another player who is on the list. Oh, they're not third overall. Shit. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me fix it. Too much stuff editing at once. I quite frankly need an editor when I do this. If I had the money, I would. I promise you all. There you go. Fourth overall. Figured it out. I'm going to take a guess and say they go for Hughes. I think it's a pretty solid bet for obvious reasons. Luke Hughes, by the way, a defenseman, unlike his brother Jack. So for New Jersey, pretty good. Sound like Ray Ferraro? Well, that's a pretty good compliment, except for the one blip from the World Juniors years and years ago. Very excited to hear his play-by-play. Yeah, he's a good play-by-play guy. I gotta say, there's a lot of people who don't like Ferraro. I think he's great. So Luke Hughes, probable pick here, I think, for the Devils. If that's the case, that's another U.S. guy. 2 and 4 picks. Hey, I don't think anyone would be complaining about that. We're saying we're getting a Hughes combination in New Jersey. Be really surprised if they don't make it a family affair and draft Hughes to go with his brother. I mean, why wouldn't you if you have the opportunity, right? I think you have to at least try. Interesting call for New Jersey. This is Bob McKenzie just tweeted this. Devils would probably prefer a defenseman, so the obvious choice would be Hughes, Jack's younger brother. However, a lot of consideration given to Edvinsson and Clark, too, if it's close, but likely still that it would be the legend himself, the future legend, Hughes brother, number 3, the final Hughes brother to be draft eligible, at least for the long time. I suppose it could pump out another baby, but I don't know if that's exactly the likely outcome. The last eligible of the brothers, so Quinn, Luke, and Jack, all going to be first-round picks. I mean, talk about a good family, good genes in that family. Whatever they have, I'll take some of that, quite frankly. They seem like they've got a great hockey family. Now, the only thing I think is noteworthy about the team is that, or about Jack Hughes, I should say, not about the whole Hughes family, is that Jack Hughes has not had that kind of breakout first overall type performance that I think people would hope for. He's been good, and perhaps this has to do with the fact that he's been surrounded by New Jersey, right? Not exactly the best team, and they could use the help. There are some good prospects in the system in New Jersey. That's the only good news. Nolan Foote's one of them. That's a guy who I thought is really good. They've got a lot of decent picks. They had 2 first-round picks last year. Dawson Mercer, the Newfoundland boy himself. Alexander Holtz was there too. Those are both 19-year-old forwards. Both young, right? It's possible. And they all play in the New York, New Jersey area. Yeah, it is huge for that family. Don't get me wrong. So I'll probably go to 5th overall here, I think. And by the way, 5th overall is Columbus, who, as you know, traded to get a better pick tonight. So they'll actually have the pick. I think it's pick 12 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So for them, great. Yeah, it's pick 12 to Columbus as well. I don't know who exactly they'll be going for, but, well, who cares? And for those of you who forgot, pick 11 this year, the 11th overall pick doesn't exist because Arizona forfeited it. And for those of you who don't know what the Coyotes got up to, their shenanigans to lose the 11th overall pick, well, here, I'll give you a quick tip on how not to lose the 11th overall pick, I guess, is probably the best way to do it. Maybe just don't violate combine testing policies. That's what the Coyotes did. They did combine testing for players well before everything happened, so whoopsies. Second best family in sports behind the Watts. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, it's possible. Wouldn't disagree with that. All right, off to the 4th overall pick. I almost got it wrong. I'm not afraid to admit that. The 4th overall pick for the New Jersey Devils. And the pick is in, and we're going to get it here any second. And we'll see who it is. I'm guessing it is Luke Hughes. There's actually a draft party in New Jersey, and there is people holding up a Luke Hughes sign, which is kind of hilarious. I mean, I guess they want the man. They want the brother. So we'll see if they give them what they want, and I would think they do. And there it is. Yeah. So Luke Hughes goes 4th overall. So New Jersey's got a family affair. It's the Sedins all over again, except one is a defenseman and one is a forward. That's a good sign. So Luke and Jack, solid player. I mean, that is a great defender, if we're being honest. The Hughes brother combination is real. Yeah. If we can... Now, here's the question. Can you find a way to get Quinn? I don't think you can, but hey, would that be cool? They're not identical twins either. I guess that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. My bad, chat. That's on me. It's on me. My apologies. All right, well, that's that. So, Columbus, you're up 5th. No pressure. I don't know who Columbus is going to take. No question here. I do not know who Columbus will take here, guys. I have no god darn clue as to who Columbus is going to grab. There was a pretty good list the whole way before this. I don't know anymore. I would think they're going to probably try and circle back on the players that could have gone earlier. So Gunther is still available. That's a solid defenseman who's not been taken yet. Or sorry, a right winger who's not been taken yet. Edvinsson is still there. Edvinsson might be the guy. Edvinsson might be the guy, actually. If we're being honest, chat. But we'll see. I am not the draft guy. I don't get to choose. And I think we'll probably wrap it up here after the 5th overall pick happens. I guess, right? No offense to Columbus, I hate your organization. Yeah, I feel bad for Columbus, man. I do. Columbus has had a rough while. And they need something good. So, if you're Columbus, here's hoping this is that good thing, I guess. But good for the Hughes family. That's 3 kids now. Their 3 sons have all gone in the first round. And I think all in the top 10, right? I don't know. Where did Quinn Hughes go? He would be the only guy who I would think might not have. I'm going to have to check. He went 7th overall. Yeah, so you have 3 sons who went in the top 10 of the draft. That's pretty impressive, right? I certainly would think so. So that's that. And of course, to celebrate this, New Jersey with a quality tweet. And they really have been nailing it, by the way, with this so far. So respect to this. Here is what they have. Let's go, baby brother. And it's Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes in Real Brothers. They grow up so fast. From the guys who brought you 3 Stanley Cups. I mean, come on. That's pretty good. Pretty funny. I respect it. I respect the lulz. All right, Columbus Blue Jackets, 5th overall pick. They are on the clock. Edvinsson is probably their guy, I would think. But who am I to even ask questions anymore? Because I'm just the dude. I believe that would be Sweden if it's Edvinsson. Yeah, it would be. I guess it would make sense to go for a Swedish-born guy too, actually, wouldn't it? Because, you know, you just lost Seth Jones. Imagine having all that money in one house. Oh, multiple houses, I would think, right? I would certainly think there's a lot of money in that family, though. You're right. Yeah, I'll have to get a contact info for them, I guess. From the one man who brought you the Stanley Cup that I consider the GOAT of goalies. Yeah, that's true. The legend himself. Columbus, in their draft room, theirs is just their locker room, kind of boring. Maybe that's just me. Jack Hughes, by the way, fired up to find out that he was going to playing with his brother in the video that was there. So that's pretty cool. Again, I'm pretty happy for them. That's kind of awesome. And the annoying trap system. True that. All right. Sounds like the pick is in for the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll find out right now, I guess. And obviously we got to do the whole Gary going to the people or whatnot. But sorry guys, budgetary constraints. John Davidson making the announcement. I actually, for a second, forgot it was going to be him for some reason. So we'll see. Will it be Edvinsson? Will they go for someone else? Wouldn't be surprised if they did, guys. Seriously wouldn't. But we'll find out. They do have some fans at Nationwide Arena, it seems like. Which is good for them, I guess. So we'll see. They're introducing... Alright, so we're hearing some gunshot sounds, chat. Could be fireworks. Maybe someone's celebrating the draft. Don't think so. Anyway, we're fine. So we will find out here in a second. Who they're taking. They're handing it off to a guy to draft, to announce it, whatever. So this is going to take a while. I'm betting it's Edvinsson, but I don't know if it is or not. It would make sense for them to want a defenseman, especially now. Herb Herbstreit making the announcement. ESPN college football guy. Just getting all the college football stuff in here, eh? Or not college football, just getting all the ESPN stuff in here, I should say. And they go off, way off of it. Way off the board, it seems. And if it wasn't any more off the board, I wouldn't have been surprised. This was expected to be I don't know, probably, I don't know, way low. But here's the interesting thing for Columbus, everyone. They just did a crazy again. Columbus selects Kent Johnson, everyone. Now, if you don't know who that is, and you probably don't, Kent Johnson, guess what? Another Michigan kid. Michigan has had 3 players go in the top 5. Someone's getting a raise. They sure are. Getting a big pile of money. So Kent Johnson, there you have it. That's the new guy for them. That is, it is not a defenseman. They go for a center, which is kind of questionable, personally. But if you're Columbus, you'll probably take whatever you can get, I guess, right? Maybe that's the thought process there, I guess. You need a player, and he was a guy who was expecting to go not that early, quite frankly. Maybe there is reason to that. I would assume there is. So the Detroit Red Wings on the clock. Now, they have a lot of options here. Like, Gunther was supposed to be going, and he hasn't gone yet. And Edvinsson has fallen, I would think. How many Johnsons are there in the NHL? Yeah, there's got to be about at least 1,000, I think. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. If you want to watch the draft, ESPN2, Sportsnet, great draft for Michigan. Agreed. Very good. So I think that's going to do. I think we'll wrap it up there. Hello. Oh, good timing as we wrap it up. Typical of my streams. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in for this. This has been fun. This has been an experiment of many types. And I am appreciative for all the love we've gotten throughout the stream. Again, if you're new and you enjoy, subscribe. And yeah, we will see you back here sometime for something else. Maybe we'll do more hockey stuff on the channel every once in a while. I don't know what that something is yet, but we'll find out, I guess. But for now, that's all I have for you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you in the next whatever, I guess. Why did it go to this camera? Not the right screen. I'll fire myself. What happened? Don't know. Do not know. My apologies. All right. Well, I guess I'll just wrap it up on this screen. Cool. See you later, everyone. Thanks for